So let's take a look at the software itself. So as I said, it's a web-based application. I am using Google Chrome, but it also works on Internet Explorer, Firefox, also on a Mac, if there are any Mac users out there. Okay. So when a user logs into the platform, they can see a dashboard of their, which includes all of the accounts, their different trade status, really the models and sleeves, and we'll talk a little bit about that. There's also some charts that show you some different informational displays here, so you can see different views of information. There's a couple of tabs here that also show you some information. This first one shows you the accounts that have fallen below their minimum cash. So you can assign a minimum cash dollar amount or percentage amount if your clients need to hold some money aside, and then the system will take that into account when it does the rebalancing calculations. But in any, if there was a case where the account fell below that minimum cash, then you'd see that account there. So I think we'll start off with the modeling capabilities. You can create an unlimited number of models in our platform, and we'll start off with a basic model that is listed here. So this model, or each of our models, are really comprised of one or more model sleeves. So this model has 6 different model sleeves. Each of these model sleeves you can assign a percentage allocation to, and that totals up to 100%. So I have one quick little slide I'll show you that goes through the different types of sleeves that we have. So you can have a single sleeve that makes up the entire model, or you can have many sleeves that comprise the model. And the nice thing is that if you're using this models of models approach, or multi-strategy approach, you can have a single sleeve that's used across many different models. And so if you make a change to that one sleeve, then that change is applied proportionately across all of your different models that contain your sleeve. So that can include custom models or standard models. So we have a couple of different types of sleeves that you can create. This is a security allocation sleeve where each security is given a target weighting. And then this is a sleeve allocation sleeve where you can use these as equivalent securities, or you may not necessarily hold all of them, but you may hold some of them. So there's a couple of different types of sleeves you can create, which result in your model. So we can take a quick look at this fixed income sleeve. It has 3 securities, 25, 50, and 25%, and then that translates to 10, 20, and 10% because it's 40% of the overall model. So what you can also do is you can assign tolerances to the individual sleeves, or you can assign tolerances to the individual securities. And either of those give you that range to determine when there's a buy or sell. So let's go ahead and another option is that you can select individual securities to trade. So if you just wanted to trade a couple of securities, you could do that. If you wanted to trade an entire sleeve, you could trade an entire sleeve, or you could just rebalance the entire account and run through all of the various sleeves in that model. So there's a few different ways to approach the modeling. You can either approach it from the sleeve level and rebalance all of the models related to that sleeve, or at the model level and just rebalance a single model. So we'll just rebalance this model. I think it may create quite a few trades, but here are, once you select rebalance, it'll pull up your list of accounts. And so all of these accounts are definitely come in from AssetBook directly and are updated in the morning. And you can select individual accounts to do trades for. You can sort and filter by any of these columns. You can also select some predefined groups that have listings of accounts as well. So a few different options there for creating trades. So great, let's create, we can do a trade for this group and we'll run through it. So the system will then calculate what trades, recommended buys and sells. And so this is really the process of doing kind of a global rebalance. There's it looks like a number of different fund trades here and some other ETFs and so on. So what you can also see is that there is this one trade here, which is a block trade. So the block trades are highlighted by the little blue arrows there. So it looks like all the rest are individual trades. On the allocations tab, so the orders tab will show you a summary of your orders, and it will block up the different block orders. So you can look on the allocations tab, and I know there's quite a bit of data here that shows up. But the nice thing is you can add and remove different columns that you don't want to see necessarily. You can also adjust the columns around, and so that's another nice feature of this. So once you, this will summarize the list of all of the individual trades for all of the individual accounts. So we can pull up one account here. And so here's all of the buys and sells recommended for this one account. Another couple of columns to take a look at. There's a quantity, trade amount. Here's your model, target. Here's where you are currently. This delta % column shows you a percentage difference between those. So you can really sort and filter and identify which securities have drifted farthest away from the model. There is also tax information here. So for sell transactions, you can sort and filter on here, and you can see which trades are going to create gains, which are going to create losses, what your year-to-date, short-term, long-term gains and losses are. So there's a lot of information on this screen. You can also select an individual account if you want to see more detail and pull up a report on that account. So the report will show you the individual sleeves, the securities in the sleeves, what the current holdings look like, the % of assets, gains and loss, and then here's the model recommendations and any trade recommendations that are here, and then here's where you're going to end up. So there's quite a bit you can do from this screen to see all of the details. You can also, for instance, if you want to grab a block of trades and clear them out, it's very easy to do. You just highlight a group of trades and you can clear them out. So back on the orders screen, we can, once we approve these orders, then they'll go to our trade screen. And the trade screen is where we would manage the orders. Okay. So I flipped over here to the trading screen. There's a number of different orders that have been created. Some of those we just created. Some of them were from previous. But the trade screens can be created to see specific views of information. So the orders and allocations are default trade screens, but I have filtered those screens based on the order status, but you can also look up trades for just a specific broker if you want to, or other information. So I have one tab here called Electronic Trading. And what that'll do is it'll pull up all of the trades that are eligible for electronic trading. So there's a good handful there. So if a firm is using our electronic trading module, all they would need to do to execute the trades is to hit select new, or you can select individual trades if you'd like to. Then click the execute button, and then those trades are electronically routed directly to the trading desks at either TD or Fidelity or Schwab. And you get the fill prices back in electronically, and it's all a real-time process. So the whole process happens in milliseconds. You can see your average prices, and then the orders are changed to completed orders. And then from there, you could take the next step, which is to allocate those trades, and that can all be done electronically in real time, which then sends up the individual account details and what their individual allocations are. So that's really the trading process for electronic trading. We also have the ability to create trade extract files. So if you do have mutual funds, then typically you'll create an extract file which would contain all of that information. And so we can easily create a file. Let's just we'll filter on these 3 trades and just the ones that started with E, and then you can click on extract, and then it would pull up your different extract formats, and then you can load these trades directly into the custodian. So if you have TD, you're using Veo, and it'll load right into the Veo platform. So we'll just run this extract, and you can see that the trades are changed to queued. So every time a trade is created in the system tracks that trade, and so if you did rebalance multiple times, or if you rebalance these same accounts again, you're not going to duplicate trades because it tracks every trade in the system, whether it's a new trade that's pending, whether it's a queued trade that's been executed, or whether it's a completed trade. So all of the trades are tracked in real time, and there's real-time trade execution. So great. You can, there's other information you can also see on a specific trade. You can pull up trade details. You can also do, if you want to do a good till cancel out till the end of the month. If you want to do a limit order, you can do all of that as well and manage it all right in here. And those those details are all sent electronically as well. So lots of ways of managing your trading process, and especially if you're using equities or ETF, it's a very nice fit. So next we'll take a look at an individual account and see some individual account details. And then we can also take a look at a household after that and go through that process. So all of the accounts are shown here on this portfolios list, and this is all information that would come over from AssetBook. Let's view these. So this account has all of the account details here. You can see the different accounting methods as well. There are, this is where you would set your cash minimum. So if you had to reserve a certain amount in cash, you could do it there. There is some additional details here. You can have name and address, different notes you can type in. All of the positions are here, so this is going to be an easy place to pull up your specific positions. You can expand any position out, see all of the tax lot details if there's multiple lots to show there, and then gains and losses. So let's take a look at the model tab. So if you were managing an individual account model and you wanted to just do trades for one account, this is really where you can manage that. So this model has a handful of sleeves. This has an equity sleeve and an ETF sleeve. So there's a couple of different options here. This determines if you want, it's possible to have the rebalancing done on a schedule. So you can automate your rebalancing if you would like to by just changing that to automatic balancing, and then there's a section that lets you determine how often you'd like to rebalance. There's also, this is where you would select the model. So there's all of your different model options here to choose from. We also have this balancing type. So I'll show you how that is used. So let's take a look at this large cap equity strategy. And so this equity strategy has a number of different individual equity securities. Here's the model targets. Here's your current weightings. This is that delta again that shows you your percentage differences. So right now the system is recommending specific trades, so you can, this is also very customizable, so if you want to do, well that's not going to make sense, but if you want to do 300 shares, this is all in real time, and you can adjust these things dynamically, and then the trade amounts and everything will adjust as well. You can also, from this screen, we can refresh this to clear out any of those adjustments. Let's leave those there. So there's another option here to, if you wanted to exclude trading, you can click on the exclude checkbox, which would then prevent any trading for a specific security. So in this scenario, it's excluding these 3 securities, and you can save that, and then no trades will be created going forward for these this account. So those are some other options as well. So let's take a look at, undo these. So the next option is that, the balance type is, this is kind of a unique option, and it may not be the best fit for every firm, but what you can do is change the balance type to tactical, and you can do this at the sleeve level or at the account level. And what that does is it actually gives you the ability to incorporate these trading signals into your investment strategies. So as you can see here, this is a sell signal, so it's going to sell out of this position altogether because you're using this tactical balance type, and there's a sell signal set. So it, that's an easy way to take advantage of momentum investing strategies and other tactics which might you might use for investment strategies. So great. Let's take a couple look at these other options. Here's your transactions, and you can also broker accounts and then custom fields. You can create your own drop-down menus and your own checkboxes to manage custom information. So from here we can take a look at a couple of other options. There are groups which we mentioned, which can be created for purposes of trading or rebalancing as well. So if you wanted to rebalance accounts that are across different models and you wanted to rebalance them all at once, you could put them in a group and then rebalance that entire group all at once. The trade extracts, so that when you create a trade file, that's where the extracts go. So let's take a quick look at the household modeling. And there's many features to this. We'll just take a quick look at this household model. So when you build a household model, there's a few different options here, but essentially it's a model that is made up of multiple accounts. So this model has 4 accounts in it for this household. And with the household type modeling, there's one other layer that we've included over and above the sleeve. So we call that a category. So this model has 3 categories. Within your equity category, you can have multiple sleeves. And so you can assign this weighting to the category and then to the individual sleeves. And these are the same sleeves that you can use with standard models as well. So then you can drill into those specific sleeves and look through the securities to see the individual accounts that hold those securities. So there is some nice capabilities around this, and you can manage the individual trading of a household. You can rebalance many households at once, and this is also very customizable as well. So if you did have a customized scenario where you wanted to manage something in a unique way, you have all of the capabilities that you have in the individual account available to customize your household modeling. So there's many other features that we're planning to include for the household modeling in our summer release, but we have a very nice customizable solution now. This report is also nice. It shows you your categories, sleeves, securities, and individual accounts, similar to the standard account modeling capabilities. So from there, we can take a couple of looks at some other screens. Of course, the securities all come in through AssetBook. All of your holdings are listed here. You can easily pull up any positions. The position query is also a nice tool. So if you wanted to identify all holders of a certain security, you can type in a symbol or a type or an individual account, and it pulls up all of the holders of that security. And then if you wanted to select everything and sell out of that position across the board, you can do it from here. That's a nice option. Some other items that come through are the asset classes, industry groups, sectors. Those also are populated based on AssetBook information. The import process, so from AssetBook, the files are sent over to our secure site, and we have it scheduled so that those files will automatically import. But the import is also a very easy process. You just select which configuration you want to use, and then you can easily just click on the select checkbox and then import in that data, and it's all very, very quick. So a couple of other options to show you is the, let's see, there's a manager field. So if you did have an environment where you had multiple users and maybe one manager or advisor only wanted to see their own accounts, you can segregate what a user is able to see in the system using that manager option. There's also the ability to create multiple users to access the platform. And if you wanted to give different users different sets of permissions, then that's something you can also configure here. You can give users the ability to create trades or modify accounts. There is also a very detailed audit log that will cover every type of change that's made in the system, and you can trace back historically any types of changes that are made. In addition, all of the trade information is also stored historically, so you can always go back and the trades themselves will archive off of the trading screen, but you can always go back and actually run these trading reports for any trades that you've ever done in the system, no matter how long ago it was. So that's a nice feature to be able to trace back all of those trade details. So that's really the summary of the Atom Align platform. I'm sure that some folks may have some individual questions. I'm not sure if I went through it too quickly, but I'm happy to answer any questions. But I encourage everyone to sign up for our newsletter just to keep abreast of any new features that come out. We also, we do every couple of months we send out our newsletter with some information. So you can sign up for that on our website, or you can also find out more information on blazeportfolio.com. And feel free to email us at sales@blazeportfolio.com, or you can give us a call to find out more information, or if you want a customized demo, that's something that we also provide. So that being said, I think we can open it up for questions.
Okay, yeah, we actually have a couple of questions, Bryson, that have come in while the webinar was going on.
Sure.
And I'll just go ahead and read those off to you, and then you can answer them as we go. First question was, is it possible to arrange the sleeves in a different order? For example, cash, fixed, and stocks. Also, is it possible to see sub-sleeves? For example, within fixed, it would be a municipal bond, taxable bond, or bond funds. That's how they organize their asset allocation spreadsheet, so it would be good for consistency.
Mm-hmm. So to answer your first question, yes, you can definitely change the order of your models and how that's displayed. So it's actually quite easy to adjust that. There's this order index column, which then lets you sort that in a specific way. And you can also sort the individual securities within the sleeves also using that same order index field. So to answer your next question, with the individual account modeling, we at this point only have that one level, but as I showed with our household modeling, we do have that an additional category level, so that is another tier in the hierarchy. You can have your categories, then your sleeves, and then the individual securities within that.
Okay, very good. The next question, where does the buy-sell signal come from in the tactical trade setting?
Sure, that's a good question. You can update that a couple of different ways. One way is just by simply pulling up the security and entering in the symbol here. So if you wanted to just change that signal manually, you could do it here. There's also, you can also import that in if you have a spreadsheet which has a list of securities. You can import in the spreadsheet and it'll update those signals automatically.
Okay, very good. Next question. Once all the portfolios are rebalanced, is there a report showing all planned trades by account?
Once the portfolios are rebalanced, is there a report that shows the planned trades or the?
Yes.
Oh yes. Well, from the trading screen, you can see there's a couple of reports, and I'll show you both those reports now. So if you wanted to see the individual trades, so the trade summary really shows you a summary of all the trades that are out there. So if you wanted to say, okay, I want to look at all the trades for TDA or for TD, you can click on the trade summary, and then it's going to run that report, which gives you a summary. So this is kind of each of the individual trades. And as you saw there, what's nice is I can filter the screen and then run the report, and it'll run it for all of the filtered trades. Another option here is the order details report, and that shows you for an individual trade, here's all of the individual allocations for these individual accounts, and here's the overall trade. And if this was a completed trade, you'd have additional comments here. And if it was an electronically executed trade, you'd also have even more details there about the electronic trading process and the fills and so on.
Okay, very good. Next question, can you do models by class or only by security?
Yes, and so I mentioned that sleeve allocation level sleeve, and so that's one way to do it by class. I guess there's a couple of ways depending on how folks really would like to set that up, but you can have you can create an unlimited number of these sleeves. So you could have the same security be in 100 different sleeves as well. So that can also be imported in from a spreadsheet. So the sleeves can be, if you wanted a sleeve allocation sleeve with all securities in a certain asset class or industry or something like that, you can create that, and then the system would look at your overall sleeve allocation. So it would look at the kind of total of all of the holdings in there, but you wouldn't have to hold every single holding. It would just grab anything that was in that sleeve, any security.
Okay. Okay, we have one more question, and that is, can Atom Align get cost basis from TD Ameritrade instead of from AssetBook?
It is possible. Right now we integrate with Pershing directly, and TD also has the same level of integration that's possible, but we currently do not have that in place.
Okay. That looks like that's all of our questions for today, guys. Thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate you showing how your product works. I'm sure our AssetBook users found that the information helpful as well.
Great.
All right,
Great.
we have
well,
your
thank you,
contact.
AssetBook. We
You're
appreciate
quite
the
welcome.
opportunity.
And right, we want to make sure you have the contact information is on the screen for Atom Align and Blaze Portfolio. So if anyone's interested, they might want to jot down quickly the website and the email address. And again, our Director of Sales at Atom Align is Luke Laidley, so you can address any questions to Luke as well.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, everyone, and thank you, Lori, for the putting everything together.